this week's Do Something With Your Marketing. There's no shortage of interesting things happening in the world, and the fact that the world is now very much a global economy. Everybody, including us, whether we have a big multi-million user website or a tiny one-person blog, is going to be affected by all of the changes that are happening all around the world. There's no shortage of interesting news about things that could disrupt or change our marketing. So one of the things we want to do today is look for opportunities outside of our country of origin. And by this I mean looking for our marketing opportunities, looking for things that might be of interest to us that we might not be thinking about. So let's go to our Google Analytics. What we're going to want to do is we're going to set up a geographical segment and then compare what content is of interest to our core users, the main part of our audience, and what content is of interest to audiences we might not be considering. Let's start with audience. We're going to go to geography and we're going to go to location. Make sure our calendar date, I like the year to date if there's more than a couple of months in the year. If there's not, then choose something, I like something like the last 6 months. That's generally a good long period to see where we're getting our traffic from. And just for comparison's sake here, we can put up a little bar graph. Now, 49% of my traffic comes from the United States. That's really interesting because I am an American. I write in US English, and yet I would have expected that number to be higher. Instead, almost 7% of my traffic comes from India, 6% from the United Kingdom, 5% from Canada. So these are some really interesting numbers. And of course, this goes on for some time. What might I want to do? Maybe I want to look at traffic from India. Now, if I just click on that, I can obviously see regionally where in India that traffic's coming from, but I want to know more about this group of people from India. So I'm going to add a segment. I'm going to create a new one here. And I want to specify a geography. So we're going to go to conditions. Actually, we can do location. Location, we'll do country, contains India. And we'll just call this India users. And now I've got an India user segment. I'm going to also put back my all users segment. So we have the two side by side. Now, when you do something like this in Google Analytics, it gives you the ability to understand what people are doing on your site. So I'm going to go to site content. I'm going to go to all pages here. And what are the pages that are most interesting? So depending on how you want things ranked, if you want to focus on the segment, make sure it's first. If you don't want to, if you want to just compare it, you can put it in second place. But in this case, I want to rank and sort by India users first. So this is really interesting here. This is an article I wrote on ethics in marketing. About 3.8% of my site visitors have viewed that, but 22% in India. That's kind of interesting. I wonder why that is. Here's another one, thinking outside the box. 7% of Indian users have read that article. It was only 1% of all users here. So we're looking for those things where there's a disproportionate amount of interest between one audience and the next. And you can see as we start to get down into smaller pages, the percentages start to more level off. But there's something here that tells us there might be an opportunity to play into this within this market. Maybe write some content specific to it if it's appropriate to do so. And maybe work if there are nuances to the language we use, or if we have the ability to translate into other languages within that geography, it might be a good idea to do so, to see if there's even more popularity, more traffic to be had from these. So for example, this article here on core competency, if I spoke or had access to people who could write natively in Hindi or Urdu, these maybe top 5 articles might be the ones I would want to spend some time investing in order to see if there's a there, if I can get more interest that way. We can even go down into conversions. If I go into multi-channel funnels, go to assisted conversions here. In this case, we would need to set up our conversion segments. So not just you'll notice we're missing the traffic here. So India segment. Let's see, any interaction from Ooh, there's no geography here. Interesting. All right. So because there is no country named India, or there's no geography specification available here at all, I would need to create one. I would need to create that using the UTM content tags. And what we could do is essentially use Google Tag Manager to rewrite our URLs for any visitor coming from India to have a UTM content tag of India. We could put that there, and then we could build a conversion segment to split up our conversions that way. So that's how you'd get around that particular little oddity here. But by having this this look at, yes, describe my changes, by having the ability to segment out our traffic and to look at our audience in different ways, we might be able to see unique ways that some audiences work that others do not, new marketing opportunities. So if we look here, this is our traditional tree map. Let's go back to our channels here. And for India users, here we see that 70% of users all come from organic search across my site, and 71% for India users. Direct, which is typically mobile. Notice here 6% comes from social. Almost only 4% really comes from social for India. So social there, either not as strong, or I'm on the wrong social networks if I wanted that to work in that geography. Referrals about the same. Email also here, look at this, 4% for all my users and only 0.77%. So again, my email marketing is not reaching this particular segment. So again, if I wanted to enter this market, I would need to spend some time looking into that. Let's look at network referrals to dig into that social question last here. Let's do, what happens if we do that? How does I push that button? Here we see Twitter, on par in India, Facebook behind, LinkedIn, stronger in India there, LinkedIn. So really not seeing, there are whole bunches of other social networks, and they're not showing up. I only got 5 here for the India segment. So there may be local social networks in that geography that simply I'm not on, and as a result, not going to generate great results out of this. So in this week's Do Something With Your Marketing, I want to emphasize, use all of these different segments in the audience section. You have demographics, you have interests, you have geographies, and take some time to explore. See what unusual things you might find, create a custom segment, and then explore your website, your content, your pages for what are the opportunities, what are the things that you could do, and where are the unique things that are to your audience that you could take advantage of that your competitors might not be, that other divisions in your company might not be, and how you could maximize those opportunities to bring in additional revenue, additional opportunities that nobody's seen yet. So thanks for watching. As always, please subscribe to the newsletter. This comes out every week in my newsletter, and to the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. If you'd like help doing this with your company, my company, Brain Trust Insights, has a table for 4 consultation package where you and up to 3 of your colleagues or friends or whatever can take an hour of time and get on the phone and video chat with me to walk through stuff like this or any other questions you might have. So feel free to check that out. As always, thank you for watching. Please feel free to subscribe to the newsletter and to the YouTube channel, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.